Gonna do this and get us off of this top screen here. Greetings, everybody. Welcome to Discussing Tabletop. It is June 12th, 2021. There's a hell of a docket because we missed last week, and it turns out that both these weeks had a lot of news. So there's some things we're probably gonna skim over. There's some things we're probably gonna skim.
6-hour podcast.
Do we have audio? Do we have audio?
We have audio.
Okay.
Okay. So why don't we just dive right into it, and I'm not gonna list off this stuff because, you know, we'll just see how it goes. Let's start with another descent into madness, in that Magic the Gathering is meeting Netflix.
Stop.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wait, no, I think I fucking saw that yesterday.
Secret Lair Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Secret Lane?
Oh my god, I
It's
heard about that.
It's their thing of like, hey, we were gonna be doing this. You know, we announced, like, Lord of the Rings and the Warhammer, but now, Stranger Things.
Is that
cool.
getting, like, that's many levels, because Stranger Things is already heavily based on some D&D stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's in Magic. That's getting more and more layered.
Is it Inception level?
It pretty much is.
It's getting there. When Driss shows up in Stranger Things season whatever, then it'll complete the circle.
I kind of want to see that now, even though I don't care about either of those things. That's just maybe why I want to see it.
I think that's one of those things I'll agree on. It's like it's so bad. It's like the weird inceptions that they're going into. Just God. Ugh. I don't know. There's one of those things that I'm like, is it necessary? Hell no. Is it great? No.
What I want to know is, like, this is like a Secret List, like a set, right?
They're like a set of like 5 to 7 cards that are like specialized. This is this is not a full set, so at least it's like you know, they did with The Walking Dead. It's just a few cards.
Okay, like, because I'm like, if you're doing a full, like, a set of Stranger Things, and is there enough characters and shit to get
the answer is no.
Cards?
See, like
I could see you have maybe the major characters as the cards, right? Like, you have 11, you have Cop Guy.
I like don't know.
I forget Hopper, whatever. I've only seen season 1.
I haven't seen any of it, so
I saw season 1 and I wasn't the biggest fan of it because it gave me a bit of a headache from all the flashing.
Yeah, that makes sense. No, I never was like, I will watch this. It was like, I might watch it.
It's like fine.
I don't know.
But yeah,
the secret.
If you want a bald psychic kid in your Magic deck, there you go, I guess.
Like,
sweet.
The secret layers are at least like slightly better than some of the other stuff, but they're still awful. I don't know. We knew it was coming. It was just like we discussed like the last things with like the Warhammer and the Lord of the Rings stuff, but this is like a weird. This is a weird direction. You could at least like.
Yeah.
It's like Walking Dead, zombies. I can understand that. You know, the Godzillas were reskinned. Okay, they're reskins. Great. We talked about Warhammer and Lord of the Rings and stuff.
40K is a weird one, but sure, whatever.
Yeah, this is like...
fantasy Warhammer is a thing.
Yeah, if they were doing fantasy, it would make sense, but they decided to do 40K.
The reason they did 40K was popularity.
The more known one, probably.
Yeah, popularity. This is like... Sure, it's got an alternate dimension, but it feels like it's just not...
But it's got a Demigorgon, which is not a Demigorgon.
Hi, Damien. Yes, you've returned. Good for you to announce
It's got a Mind Flayer, but it's not a Mind Flayer.
Is it a Flayer Mind?
No, it's like a weird 4-legged spider monster thing.
Oh, so it's like an intellect devourer?
Not really. They call it a Mind Flayer in the show. Because everything is quirky, because the kids are quirky and they play D&D, and it's because the 80s, but it's not actually the 80s, it's how people want to remember the 80s.
So, I mean, like...
Now.
Yes, Damien, you've announced yourself...
Damien has many opinions on this.
She's not happy about this. She's just not happy. She's like, nah, I'm not having this. What are you people doing?
Where's my cat set?
You could have a cat deck. Talk to Blaze. He has a cat deck.
Good. I had one in Magic Arena.
Regardless, this is just like such a weird property for anything Magic. Like, I feel like we're taking steps away from like what. As much as I don't like them, everything else I could see in a way. You know, I could see it working. This is like I just don't know enough to be like sure it could. You know,
they're just Stranger Things is just normal people. Like, just normal-ass people in the 80s.
Yeah, and one psychic kid, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what, you have a psychic kid and maybe some of the monsters that would make great cards?
Maybe the cop guy, he's interesting, I guess.
He's a cop. He has like
give him body armor and gun, and then he's like a 1/2 or something.
He's got like reach, so he can shoot bullets at things in the air.
yeah. There you go. So maybe he's like a 2/2 or something then.
Yeah. There you go. He can shoot bullets. Damien, what do you want?
Cop. and tap him and shoot.
Tap to deal 1 damage to target creature with flying with gun. Oh, Jesus.
I have no idea about magic.
This sounds like it works. So anyway, yeah, that's the thing. I'll just put this first link here into chat, just because.
Yeah, sure. have links or whatever for our live audience.
If we're doing Netflix crossovers, do like Castlevania Netflix or some shit. Something that like fits and makes sense.
So D&D stuff.
Yeah, D&D stuff.
So they're having a week of legend lore, which I don't know what the hell that means. I mean, it is announcing 2 new things evolving with it. It's their new adventure, and they've announced a new book, and then they've got the unearthed arcana, which I really want to talk about it. So
I didn't read that yet. Yeah, someone tossed me that.
I will toss you that.
Jay sent me it, and then I was like, I'll read this, and I never did.
Yeah, I didn't know it existed, because I like rarely check those things.
Yeah, so...
I mean, I only noticed what Jeremy Crawford tweets out.
So Week of Legend lore has introduced The Wild Beyond Witchlight, which is a...
it's Strixhaven stuff, right?
Well, this one's a Feywild adventure that they're introducing. So, I mean...
Feywild and Strixhaven.
They haven't done a lot. Hi, yes, I like you too a lot, Kat. I'm gonna have to get rid of you from my lap in a minute. Hey... I don't know, the alternate cover does not.
That's
cool.
A train.
That's a train?
I don't know if you can hear it, but it's very loud here.
No.
There's this train track in my backyard.
Though, as a quick side note, I did read through the Ravenloft book, and it actually was pretty good with presenting a whole bunch of different.
Okay. I still haven't been able to get a copy.
Cough, cough, trove, cough, cough. Anyway.
I couldn't find it on there. It
just showed up today.
Oh,
well, there's something else we can look at legally with real money that we spend.
I can finally do my Ravenloft game prep.
Anyway, they gave little suggestions on, like, mini places you could visit. So they're, like, not the full breakdown. One of them was apparently, like, a Aberrant, like, magic train, which has been turned into, like, I'm like...
Can I suplex the train?
I think you can! I would allow it, I'm sorry.
If your strength... Hey, if you roll your strength enough.
If you have enough strength, and you're...
20
on
a 20 strength character.
Get a wizard to enlarge you, and then roll a strength check.
And be like a grappler build. You gotta be like
you need to have 2 people, because 5e does the concentration stuff. You get someone to enlarge you and then someone to enhance ability strength on you, so you have like triple advantage strength checks or whatever, and then you just suplex the train.
Yes.
I'm into it. I allow you to attempt it.
That sounds amazing. I guess we're fighting a train coming up soon on Friday or whatever.
I mean, you can fight an airship.
I don't want to fight an airship. I like airships, but I'll fight a train.
Fuck trains in particular.
Yeah.
They did actually announce a Strixhaven book that they're not talking about until July. That's coming out in November. And I'm like, Strixhaven wasn't interesting enough. Like, it was okay, but I'm like feeling like, why are they doubling down on it? I never felt it was popular enough, you know? Like, there are other...
Because they want it to be popular, so that's why they're doubling down. Look, we're going to support this. Have more things.
It's totally not Harry Potter, but very Harry Potter.
Yeah, that's why it's... Like, I don't know. Looking at the UA, this subclass stuff, I just don't know why. That's just all I can say. Why?
It's weird because it's also like... It's... Like, just to take the first one, Mage of Lorehold, it's a bard, warlock, or wizard subclass. I'm like,
the
what?
part that's confusing me a lot.
Yeah.
That's not how those work, typically.
There's a Mage of Prismari, which is Druid, Sorcerer, and Wizard, and one of the things is like, unless I'm reading this wrong... oh, no. I was reading it wrong, correct. But anyway, there's a Lessons of the Past, which is their level 6 Mage of Lorehold feature, and it's basically like, hey, do you have an animal companion? If you do, buff them up. But you'd have to have that, so you have an entire section here dedicated to if you have an animal companion?
Yeah.
So if you don't have an animal companion, does this do nothing, which therefore makes the level 6 feature nothing?
Oh, you get an ancient companion. They give you one.
Oh, it gives you one.
It does.
Oh, you do get it. Okay.
It gives you one.
Because it says when you bond with your ancient companion. Oh, okay. So ancient companion is literally to the left of it. I have reading comprehension.
No, it's okay. It's okay. This happens.
All right. Okay. So, well, that minor nitpick over that, but like they're kind of weird.
The idea of like, I guess, multiple subclasses is interesting, but is D&D like built for that though?
I don't think so.
I kind of like the idea, but I'd have to really read through it to get it. Like,
I'm gonna have to like take a full read through of this.
Because the reason why I say it's I'm for it is this is a conversation we've had, I'm pretty sure on the show, literally, and in private with ourselves. Like, if you say, I'm making a character, they're X race, and they're a rogue, and they're gonna be arcane trickster, or whatever, or let's simplify it, they're gonna be thief, right? They're gonna be whatever race rogue thief. So someone else in the party can be like, oh man, I really also like rogue thief. I'm gonna play a rogue thief. Well, they could be Y race, and the differences between player A and player B, who are both playing a rogue thief, even though their race is different, their personalities and stuff are different, their abilities are basically going to be exactly the same. It's just how they use them is the only thing that's going to change. So by having it where there's a subclass you can apply to multiple different classes, that can make the class, like, different. Like, you could be a sorcerer assassin as opposed to a rogue assassin, kind of like that,
Yeah.
So you could maybe have a bit more variety with the classes. I don't know how I would do that personally, but the idea of being able to have more than just the base of subclasses, I think, would help.
Yeah, I like the idea. I would have to really read through this to know if it works in any way.
Oh, definitely. There's a lot here.
But just instead of, because it's so much information, but just at a glance, it's weird.
Yeah. It's an interesting idea, but weird. Maybe we'll try to, like, revisit this one or something, because it needs a lot more to break it down.
I'm going to need time to, like, apply my DM brain to this.
Yeah, my brain is not ready yet.
I've had enough coffee to understand this.
I mean, we got, like, freaking this and then 2 big announcements that I mentioned. So, I mean D&D is...
Feywild book I'm into. I love the Feywild stuff.
Yeah, the Feywild adventure might be really cool. I definitely like the Wild Behind Witch Life.
We probably have...
I love weird elf shit so much.
We probably have someone in our party, soon to be in our party in the Friday game, who has visited the Feywild before.
Yeah, maybe who could that be?
I don't know. Someone.
I don't know, some weirdo.
I'm also going to say, like, I'm going to be very suspect of the Strixhaven book. Like, if this is the stuff that's an example of it, the Unearthed Arcana is, like, showing off something that they're working on for the book, The book is actually is pretty close. I mean, normally they have the unearthed arcanas way out there. You know,
Yeah.
This is June and it's supposed to come out in November.
When did you get home?
It would be very
Been home
quick
for a while.
edits to fix stuff.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I mean, unless they're like doing it now to try and get other people's opinion, and they already have their own like, we're pretty sure this is what we want, but let's get a last minute opinion kind of thing.
Yeah.
I can see
I mean,
them
I
maybe
can-
getting a last minute, yeah. No,
These aren't terrible ideas from just what I'm reading here.
yeah.
But-
I don't know.
I mean, I'm all for Magic Academy stuff. I
Yeah.
have one in my setting that I sort of ran a little game there, but then they're like, nah, we don't want to be Magic Academy. It's weird
Wizard
here. We
School,
want an
let's
adventure.
go.
Yeah. I could easily run an entire
I've
game
got
from that.
like 8 or 9 movies you can rip off.
No.
Hmm. I mean, that was the only.
Movies that I've never seen.
I mean, that's the only thing that I've heard from people that have like analyzed Strixhaven more. It at least isn't technically Harry Potter. It feels like it's got that same feel of Magic Academy, but you know they do enough of their own at least to make them unique. But so hey, I don't know. We'll see about it.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, and I guess we'll have to revisit the Unearthed Arcana.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
I want
There's
to.
a lot of text.
I want to talk about the Starfinder Galaxy Exploration Manual. This is one that I actually really like because it gives class options for every class, character background generator, new equipment, and then I like this: rules for creating and exploring sensational science fantasy worlds ranging from planets, asteroids, satellites, colony ships, and more. 12 environmental biomes. It's kind of like a really good GM guide tool for creating space places and stuff like that, or your own planets and stuff, very quickly and efficiently, and I like that.
I have always wanted to be a player in a Starfinder game.
I would be 100% for it because I love space and I know Pathfinder decently enough to not
Yeah.
suck horrible garbage.
Yeah, like I've always wanted to be a player in one, and this book does look pretty, and it's got a really good cover. I'll give it that. This book sounds very interesting and something that probably needed as a nice little guide on how to make stuff.
God,
Yeah, sci-fi is so difficult to run.
Yeah.
I feel like this is one of those ones that as soon as I saw it, I'm like, wow, why didn't you guys have this earlier?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
'Cause
like,
How old
fantasy-
is Starfinder?
A couple years now,
I don't know.
It's
I thought
been
it was older.
out for a bit, yeah.
two or 3 years at least.
Starfinder came
Maybe even
out
4.
in 2017.
I was right on the last end, maybe even 4. Yeah.
Wow. I'm actually surprised if not older than that, honestly. But, I mean, I'd be for it.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Yeah.
I have played and DM'd rather. What's the stars that numbers?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And when you have now, granted, there's a really cool way to generate planets in stars that numbers, and
Yeah, it's a
usually,
nice tape.
yeah, and usually you don't have too many. Like maybe you have 20 planets. Depends on how
Yeah.
big you want to go. And just by how you generate planets in that system, you can get really interesting things like, oh, this is a modified human race, right? It gives you
Yeah.
just enough information that you can kind of be like, oh, well, I know how I want to do that. But when you aren't using a system that tells you how to create worlds that way, it's really difficult, especially if you're boots on the ground kind of thing. Like with regular
Yeah.
D&D, creating an entire world in a D&D setting is hard because the players can go everywhere on that, as opposed to like a sci-fi setting where if there's space travel, especially, right? They could get on a spaceship, leave a planet, fly to another planet, and now they have an entire planet they can explore.
Yeah.
So unless you're just hitting major cities or something, or like specific areas to treat it more like an adventure, like, oh, it's a dungeon map, basically. You know, you're going
Yeah,
to
like,
this forest.
Adventure
bounty
versus your sandboxy experience, right?
Yeah,
Like you could probably this will help so much with the sandboxy experiences.
yeah. And I think that's the hardest thing to do. If your players decide to go off of like the beaten path in a
Mhm.
sci-fi setting with space travel, you could just be stuck because you have to create a huge amount of stuff.
Yeah.
And it depends on like how much they want to they stop by a planet, how much of their time are they going to spend there?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And if they're just like, hey, this planet has this resource that we want to buy and sell, they literally never go on the planet. They just go to the orbital docks. They buy some stuff. They load up the ship. Maybe they try and get some context, and they leave. And that's what happened a lot in my Stars Not Numbers game. Is they had a pretty good ship from the start because I didn't want to have them have garbage, and they decided that, hey, we're wanted by the law, so we're just never going to stop anywhere. So it's like, well, I guess nothing ever is bad going to happen because you guys literally don't stop ever. So
I mean, in the Stars Not Numbers games I've played, and we just kind of vagabond around the system, delivering shit, and that was it.
Yeah, that's
we
pretty
didn't
common, I think.
We didn't get to experience much on the planet side of things. So yeah,
It's a pretty deadly system, though.
it is.
Yeah, especially at the lowest levels. Like, level like 1 and 2 are like really dangerous. A little bit less so if you are like a warrior type. And I think level 3 is when the game really kind of opens up. I honestly don't know. Like, if I was to run another game in that setting, I might have it where the first 3 levels you get just by doing busy work, and there's a lot less like danger to be had because you can just kill them. It's like, oh, you run into a thug, he shoots you, oh, you're dead.
Yep.
No, I mean, like, this is great. Environments,
nothing negative about this.
cultural rules, open-ended space exploration. They're pointing towards it. I mean, this is something that like it's been sorely needed, I think, for Starfinder.
So when's the Starfinder game happening, Kansas?
Yeah,
I've talked about that one too. That is also one I've discussed.
What if we do just Carrion Crown, but it's in space instead?
Oh God, no, not more Carrying Crown.
But in space.
Yeah, Carrion Crown, but
space.
space.
It slightly better. I could be a space fox and have fly my R-wing.
Nice.
I'm gonna go out in my R-wing.
Do a barrel roll.
No, I'm gonna do an aileron roll. Barrel rolls would be stupid.
No.
You can be the space fox, and I'll be space frog.
Space frog? No. You have to be space bird.
Oh, okay.
or you can be space rabbit.
Ooh, I forgot the rabbit
I think
Yeah,
the only
space
one
rabbit.
that I don't think they have a direct race for in Pathfinder is the rabbit. But like they have a fox, the kitsune. They have the Grippleys for frog.
Yep.
And
Believe it or not.
they have a bird people. So I mean, like you could pretty much do it. Star Fox Adventures in Starfinder.
Hell yeah. Let's make it happen.
I'm sure there's a rules for like making like a rabbit person too or something somewhere.
Oh, I'm
It
sure.
probably wouldn't be that hard.
Now, see, I want to have that if just as a short, stupid throwaway adventure. Where you're all ace fighter pilots, and there's some stuff, some pirate ship.
a Vanar and the monkey people. Like one of them is an evil scientist and trying to take over the galaxy or something. I don't know.
God.
We need to make this happen now. Put it on the list.
So,
The ever-growing list.
of weird crap to do.
No, I mean you said you want to have some short adventures.
I mean, it would
On
be
stream.
it would be short. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you could have more than a one shot out of it. You could probably get like 4 to 6 adventures out of it.
Yeah, you get like a short adventure, like rather than a short like.
Yeah, it's too ridiculous for a one shot. You would never have enough time because
No.
of all the ridiculousness.
No, I agree. Oh god.
But no, it sounds awesome. I mean,
This book
more
sounds good.
Starfinder.
I wanted to talk about something that's officially released then too.
Officially released.
I know.
things.
Superheroes in basically a D10 system game.
Is this we talked about this before,
Well, this
right?
came out.
It came out in the Kickstarter, and this is finally the physical PDF and print on demand through Drive-Through RPG. So for those of you out there that don't know about Aberrant, Aberrant was originally White Wolf's superhero game. Onyx Path has since taken it over. They were doing the 20th anniversary series of World of Darkness stuff. So they did they've done Kickstarters for the Trinity series. We were talking about Adventure just a month ago or something.
Yeah, we were.
So that was the third in the trilogy. It's like this one takes place at in 2028 when apparently in 2018 the first person with superpowers was discovered.
Novas, people with superhuman powers, first appeared following the explosion of space station high above Earth. Now, 10 years later, thousands of Novas have transformed the world, using their extraordinary powers to fight crime, clean up the environment, invent new technologies, and create wonders. I can keep doing this work.
This is just like Infamous at that point. A bunch of superpower people just randomly appeared one day.
It kind of is.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
This is just adding on to the superhero kind of RPG games. Like, I'm going to quote Besim in this, because you can play superheroes in Besim. And Mutants and Masterminds. If it's like those two systems, I am down for it.
Yeah.
Because I really want to play in one of those systems.
This is the system that I've played all three, and for when it came to superheroes, I kind of liked this best, just because of the way that they played it. Like, the thing is, Mutants and Masterminds is it's a D20 system. So no matter what you're doing, you kind of feel very numberies like D&D, you know? It always feels a little bit like that. The numbers don't ever get as big because there's not as much, like, adding and stuff like that. But,
yeah, the scaling is a lot smaller, I think.
Yeah, the scaling's a lot smaller, but it still feels like everything is a numbers game in that one. Besim, it's a different kind of system too. It's a 2d6 system. You're rolling 2d6 trying to like get with target numbers and stuff like that. It's a little better. This one, because it's the D10 system that like White Wolf has, where you have depending on
dice pools.
You've got dice pools, and then your dice pools determine success. That's why I always like
Shadowrun.
It's like Shadowrun does it, World of Darkness does it, but this is like it. This is D10 like World of Darkness instead of D6 like Shadowrun. Because again,
but Shadowrun moved past D6. I thought they were on D10 now.
Did they switch it in the latest
I don't
edition?
remember. I don't know what they're on now.
Up till 5th edition, they were still D6s. I don't know about the 6th edition.
Okay, well maybe it was. I mean, I played 5th, not 6th, so maybe it was D6s and I was just derp.
It could be. It's just because it's hard to remember sometimes all these things. Too many systems.
Yeah.
I haven't played as many games as these two, but you know.
It's always a lot of games, so it's understandable.
Yeah.
There's so many systems.
Like
I have read more than I've played.
Aberrant, I just like the entire system because there's like it's with the dice pools, such crazy stuff can happen. Like we had a game where we were playing in like 2018 or like 2019, 2020, so it was like right after like Novas appeared, so they were very like rare. Where we were a group that was an elite part of the LA police force, and we were called I forget what. Basically, the joke was SWAT is represents something. Ours was Scotia, and we were Novas.
No.
That was what I heard. No one picked up on that right away. When we finally got that, we were like, "Oh God, what have you done to us?"
But good times.
Yeah. But we did have someone that was decided to make effectively Dr. Tran, who had time powers, so he could do all the things in the little animation, and then he nut punched someone, and their balls exploded. They were gone.
Nice.
Vaporization.
They were vaporized, and we.
Oh wait, no, sorry. It's the annihilated is the antimatter terminology.
See,
they
like
were annihilated.
it was Dr. Tran, Rebar, and Paragon. I was playing Paragon, so I was just like, I just wanted like a little bit level of like all the mega tributes. So that's why I was just like, I'm just slightly better than everybody, like, you know. And then Rebar was a worker from Hawaii who got into a accident at a construction site and awakened his powers. So like he just wears a Hawaiian shirt that's been ripped because he's like a Hulk or like, you know, like Thing guy. So he's gigantic.
Nice.
I mean, like, I just love the idea of, like, it's you could just have a level of, because it's the idea that, like, some kind of stress awakens your powers. You could come up with these weird storylines as to why you have these powers.
God, you really could go just like the Infamous route, where there's so many weird superpowers. Like, there's someone in Infamous whose power is controlling paper.
Yeah. You could do
Well,
that.
it's like Gambit, but shittier.
Yeah, you can death by 1,000 paper cuts.
No. You go and actually make it decent and go anime and do read or die.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have watched like 3 episodes of that, and I thought it was fine, and I don't remember why I stopped.
I don't know if you're watching the TV series or the OVA, and that's all I can say. Because they
Probably
were
the TV series.
they were
so-
very different.
Yeah, probably. I mean, that's freaking anime.
Yes,
no,
same
I mean-
world, very different.
I'd love to read this book if it
Yeah.
ever had Game Into My Eye socket.
I mean,
area,
I
because
probably can share a PDF copy at some point.
Yeah, no, that'd be great because
You
I
could share a
don't buy
copy of-
physical stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have enough
Right.
crap as it is.
I mean,
I would love to play in this though.
I have the option, I think, of getting like a reduced price print on demand, but I'm like, I don't know if I want it because I just like physical books neat, but
PDFs are convenient.
yes.
Yeah, I
just-
mean,
Space issues still exist.
I won't lie and say that it's not cool to go out and dust off the freaking AD&D monster manual that I have and look
Ooh.
through it and stuff. I really enjoy that, but I'm sorry, I just if I had the money, I would have all those books, and then I have to move those books because
Yeah.
I have not lived in a permanent residency for like more than a couple of years at a time because life sucks.
Yep.
I still have half of my shit packed up. It's right over here. You can't see it.
Yeah. So I mean, it's
I
the
feel like
thing.
if I had like a lot of money, 90% of the books I would own would be RPG books I would never read.
Yeah, I feel that.
But yeah, Aberrant, it's officially fully released.
Hey.
Sounds good. Can't wait to read a PDF and then not play.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk a little bit about Munchkin because 2 Munchkin products came out. One that I think is really neat. They did Munchkin Apocalypse Kaiju,
Oh no! What?
and they also did, and this is thanks Usaopoly because they're working with it. SpongeBob Munchkin.
No! Why?
Oh, this is not what I was
Why?
expecting.
Pre-order it now. It's available on July 20th.
Like,
Why though?
I mean, like, the Kaiju, I'm interested in that one. I liked Munchkin Apocalypse. I like any of the Munchkin ones. I haven't bought a Munchkin anything.
Munchkin's fun.
Oh,
You know.
there's so many. Freaking here's some SpongeBob Monopoly, SpongeBob dice set.
Yeah.
Spot it, SpongeBob. I don't know
Yeah.
what that is.
SpongeBob
Rubik's
Rubik's
Cube. Trivial Pursuit. I think we talked about that.
We
one.
did mention the SpongeBob Trivial
Yeah.
Pursuit.
I mean,
think we
that
did.
one kind of makes sense if you're a big fan of the series. I'm just gonna close that tab now and not look at it again.
I wish
So
I
yeah,
could
Munchkin
unsee this.
Apocalypse.
There's so many Munchkin sets.
Wow. I mean, and this one is just like, they're just really,
franchise battle card.
they're just milking poor SpongeBob for all it's worth right now. I feel like it's
Oh god, it's because the creator died, so they're
Oh,
just
is it?
like feeding
Did he?
the trauma. That's probably what it is. Yeah, he did die. I think a couple years back.
Oh, that sucks.
I forgot all of
And
it.
he never wanted like the show, because the show was supposed to just end and be done at that. And now Nickelodeon is like, now we're just gonna like make a bunch of shit.
Of course, that's because that's
Yeah.
corporate crap.
Yeah, he died in 2018. Oh,
Yeah,
fuck.
It's actually pretty sad.
Man.
I mean, SpongeBob wasn't the only thing he worked on.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's how we're getting all this weird SpongeBob stuff now.
I want to zoom in on this picture more because I want to read this art because it says franchise battle and the quote is "Let them fight." When you see or when you are in combat on your turn, play this with what? play this monster from your hand. It is your helper for the fight. Add its level to yours. Usable only once. I thought, honestly, that was going to be more interesting of text, but that's just like, that's what the card does. Because it has a freaking, like, Godzilla and a pterodactyl kind of thing fighting.
Yeah.
It's a very silly looking card.
Yeah, costume malfunction.
Spiky building, you know, you try and step on a building and, you know, it's like stepping on a nail or whatever, you know.
I'm surprised they didn't do Rocky Road. I'm surprised they just made it like a giant bird made of rock. I'm surprised they didn't make of ice cream.
Oh my
Made of rocks! It doesn't have any vulnerable spots! Oh, that is such a reference.
Oh god. I also like that you can have a rousing theme song or a small child in shorts to help you win.
Oh, that's a... Man.
I don't know anything about these games at all, but they look absolutely ridiculous.
I'm glad that they included a Gamera reference.
Yeah. I mean,
they also have a Galaxy Quest reference.
They have so many references.
The reference is the game.
That's what Munchkin is at its core.
It is, yeah.
When it's doing its best, it's references the game, and I like it better when it's their own general things, or like some of their theme stuff where they got a little specific was okay still, but like when it's their very, very oddly specific things like the Marvel, the SpongeBob, it's a little much sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a thing.
That's a thing.
It exists.
So, I mean, I blame Usaopoly for the one.
It exists. They want you to consume their product.
I'm just gonna type. No, I don't need chat rules. I don't need your rules. I'm a moderator.
Alright, I'll show you some chat rules. There you go.
Alright, now I want to pop up the docket again because literally one of the topics here is just Usaopoly RPG stuff.
We are not done with Usaopoly. We'll be back to them.
We're not.
We will be back to them.
No, what's this board games thing?
There's just a quick hit of some board games that are interesting that came out. I just wanted to kind of throw out some stuff on a few of them here. That's it. So why don't we hit those up quickly?
Yeah.
There is Fantasy Flight is doing an interesting board game set in their Arkham Horror thing. It's Unfathomable. It's like you're fighting monsters on a ship. Kind of looks neat.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah.
I am all for ship stuff. You guys had ship combat.
I love the box art.
16 weeks ago, whenever that last game happened.
Yeah.
It was 84 years ago.
84 years ago.
Yeah. So you're dealing with the passengers crew of the SS Atlantica.
No.
There's cards like, are you a human or a hybrid? You could be.
You could be a horrible monster man.
This reminding me of Battlestar Galactica.
Oh no!
Just from the way some of it looks. It is. It actually just is. But Cthulhu themed. I'm into this.
Oh no!
I love the Battlestar Galactica game.
Yep.
Well, I know what's gonna happen. When you guys go out onto the next boat,
Cthulhu.
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 You failed to stop Cthulhu being summoned, and
there is a very gorgeous looking board game I just wanted to shout out that had been a Kickstarter. Late pledges still exist. I'll throw up the Kickstarter link because it's the one I have here easily.
Kickstarter link.
Momiji.
We talked about this one, didn't we?
I think we did.
Did we talk about?
It looks familiar.
We talked about a lot of things on this show.
That's the side.
Maybe it just looks familiar to the tea building one.
It is similar to the tree building one, except you gather leaves.
We didn't talk about
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You gather leaves, and perhaps there's some wooden animal tokens. There's a little fox, a deer, a cat.
A fox. Well, you've had me at fox.
That's the Ancient Garden expansion has tiny animals.
There's also a frog.
Yeah, awesome frog.
Hell yeah, frogs and foxes.
Yeah, let's go.
I mean, it looks very pretty. And it looks very neat.
Very, very cool.
and it's the kind of game that you can just relax and have friends.
Yeah, it's a nice chill game.
Let's see here. WizKids has announced this thing, which is Zombie Princess and the Enchanted Maze.
This thing, that's a seller there.
Yeah, which is it's apparently
it's
like
loading? Oh no.
It's loading for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait before I say anything so you can experience the splash page.
Oh, so
wow.
it's you take on the role of chivalrous knights, and you're trapped in an ever-changing maze with a princess turned zombie.
Who was looking for love? Now she's looking for lunch.
God, yeah.
That's on the box.
I saw it on the box. Yes.
I mean, I'm all for switching up the medium. So that's fine.
Yeah, we're combining zombies with fantasy now, which is appropriate, but they don't do it as much anymore.
Well, you just think about you saved the princess, she's not in this castle, and now it's like run away from the princess, she's in this castle. So I like when they take a stereotype or a trope or whatever and be like, we're gonna use this trope, but not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I mean, I'd try it honestly.
Yeah, I would too. It's definitely
48 map tiles.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Map tile games are cool.
Yeah. We have a few more of these quick hits of the board game section of today. We have technically it's a Ticket to Ride game, but it's a puzzle game.
I love Ticket to Ride.
Because that's an interesting thing for Ticket to Ride Go, a brain teaser puzzle game.
Not as much into this one though.
I know. I'm like, why was this the direction that people chose?
I is one of my favorite board games. I don't understand what I'm looking at here.
I don't know either. I don't know anything about
Ticket to Ride track switcher.
The thing you need to know about Ticket to Ride is if you think like other board games are the ultimate screw your friends over, you've not played Ticket to Ride.
Oh, okay.
I
probably would hate it then because I don't.
It is fuck your friends over the game.
But you're not even trying. The thing is, you fuck them over without even trying.
Yeah.
You're just doing your own thing, and then all of a sudden they'll be like, "No, what have you done?" And I'm like, "What? What did I do?"
Oh no!
Because
that sounds awful.
You claim the route that they needed to complete their ultimate thing, and then you were just building your normal route.
You were just doing what your card says, and then you just fucked them over.
Oh, that sounds awful. Can't wait to play it with Umber. I don't think I'd want to play that game.
It's a Steve version.
I
think you said a Steve version.
I mean, there might be the guy named Steve in it. I don't know. He can ride trains.
Here's an interesting one. There is another love letter, but Princess Ever After, which looks very cute.
What?
I like love letter.
It's based on this was from last week. I looked up a little bit about his stuff. It was like a graphic novel someone did. It was apparently very cute or something.
I don't know anything about Love Letter card game.
Love Letter is a card game where normally what it is like you have two cards in hand. Well, technically you have one card in hand. Everybody's dealt a card, and then from this small deck, a number two cards are removed. Then on your turn, you draw one card and you have to discard a card. When you discard a card, its abilities activate. There are certain cards that, it might say you have to discard it. Others that, if you discard the princess, you lose. And so the object is to get to the end of the round where the deck runs out, and then whoever has the highest number gets a favor from the princess, which is Look, I'm gonna do this as the original love letter. There were these little square cubes, which this female friend of mine was like, so they're what, square hand jobs? That's what she said about it. I'm like, so that was
nice.
Well, I'm not putting any princesses in my D&D game, especially with magical square cubes. I mean, You had me until the square cubes moment, and I'm like, this is weird now.
Well, it's just you get little tokens that are favor, and whoever gets three first.
There's a Lovecraft one.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
it's a Lovecraft letter.
Oh god, I think I'll stick to the original, or like this one is the kind of thing where it's like it's if they have slightly different abilities that might be interesting, kind of things like that, you know.
I mean,
pretty sure there's an anime one as well.
Just by this title and the art, I'm for this one for reasons that I will not say out loud. But but you know,
It is very very cute art.
It's very cute, yeah.
And one last one on our amazing board game shuffle, because this is board game adjacent, and we're going to finish up with this.
No, not
this
board
is a
game
thing.
What has occurred? Let me hear it.
Let's find out what this is.
Pandemic. The novels.
Oh no.
Really?
Really?
No, I don't know.
Does Pandemic have enough of a storyline to have novelizations?
What?
I mean, I guess there's lore to Pandemic, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That's news to me.
Because there's, I don't know how you get a book out of it though.
Yes.
Anyone can write a book with enough. I mean, bugbears can write books.
It's like if I'm saying like I'm doing Pandemic the novel, I could be like, I'm just writing Outbreak.
Yeah, to be fair though, like
the movie, you know, or something like that.
You can just do like a disease story and just have it named after one of the diseases in the board game, and then you've done it. Congrats.
Yeah, maybe low-hanging fruit. Maybe, I don't know.
It's. I feel like this is one of those ones where it's like I've never known it to have enough story, and now you're adding in a story, neat, but it's sort of like it doesn't need to be Pandemic.
It just confuses me.
Yeah, I feel like you could just write this without branding it as Pandemic.
Yeah, it feels kind of like a cash grab, and I'm an old jaded man, so take that how you will.
I agree. It feels like a cash grab.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like, I feel like the Pandemic board game has maybe got a lot of traction because of real life stuff.
Definitely. I mean,
and now they're like, who can write a book really fast?
I don't want to accuse of anything, but at least with movies, there's these things called spec scripts, and I believe the same thing kind of exists with books, where you basically just write the framework of a story, and then you're done. You sell it off to someone, and they do something with it. So it could just be like one of those.
Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so it's like you're taking a storyline of like it's a near future, and there's a group that's specifically tasked with like going around the world looking for viruses, a la the players in, you know, Pandemic. Okay, great. You're taking on the role of that's your Pandemic side of it. After that, it's a new recruit, South America, mutated virus, controlled by a local warlord. All those things I could have in any goddamn book.
Yeah, like it's not Pandemic exclusive.
I could just be like, oh, it's the CDC, and there's a new guy down there, or like the World Health Organization, and there's a new guy down there, you know, dealing with this thing.
Yeah, I feel like it's just branding for the sake of like
it probably
audience.
The board game has shot up in popularity because of reasons.
Reasons.
I mean, I like Pandemic, the original.
Game.
Yeah,
I like the board game a lot.
I think I've seen it played digitally on the YubTubs, and it looked fun. I don't know if I'd enjoy it super a lot. Maybe.
I liked it mostly because like it's, unless you're using one of the expansions, it's purely co-op.
Yeah, which I like. I am my tongue.
One of the expansions adds in kind of like an antagonist role.
Oh, I don't think I like that.
I never used that one.
When I played with my friends, we've just banned that card, that role.
I mean, like the expansion introduced, like the first expansion introduced 3 different types of gameplay. It added, I think it was virulent strains, mutations, and then the idea of the bioterrorist, which was like the antagonist.
And we never really used the bioterrorist guy.
Like I was
It's the
gonna say
antagonist role, which is bleh.
before I bit my tongue because talking too fast. I am a big fan of co-op games. In fact, I prefer them over most other games.
I have recently become more preferential towards them because I've come to realize I'm an incredibly competitive person when it comes to games, and I can become kind of a dick.
Yeah.
So
Welcome to me. That's how I get. I become a very, very not nice person to be around when there's competitive stuff on the line.
I played Siege. Last time I played Siege, I got so mad and competitive that I just had to shut the game off and go try to not be angry. And I haven't played it. I haven't played it in a month. So
yes. But yeah, a book based on a board game.
It's a thing.
I don't think it's the first time this has happened.
No, probably
Based on
not.
a board game.
I think
But it's weird.
I think this was at least like a board game that I feel like has the least amount of story out of all board games you could have chosen.
I mean, this is kind of a board game you kind of
What
make a
if-
story with
like,
as well.
What if Monopoly book?
I was gonna say, like, if you took something like Arkham Horror, I could certainly see books out of it. Like, they have biographies for all these characters and stuff like this. You know, you could
I
easily
can go deeper. Chess, the book.
Speaking of Monopoly,
No.
No!
BAM!
No!
Bam!
Yeah, I saw this. I saw that this got actually
D&D
like,
Monopoly.
it has such iconic characters as Human Fighter.
Oh, hell yeah, Human Fighter.
Halfling Rogue, Human Wizard,
Human
Yeah.
Fighter.
Dwarven Cleric, Elven Ranger, or Tiefling Bard.
No. Elven Ranger. I mean, okay, they had to. You know what's not in here? Half elf. Because I was gonna say.
Fuck half elves apparently.
They was gonna say they had to nerf half elf by tying it to Ranger, but that's elf.
The iconic D&D character,
And it's got
Human Fighter.
It has such iconic monsters as Bugbear, Demogorgon, Beholder. I'm like, Demogorgon? That's the one you went for?
That's like second edition, first edition.
I mean, he shows up. He's the freaking the demon prince of
no.
Abyss. You know.
On the bottom of the page, clue.
Yeah.
D&D.
Oh yeah.
I knew about that one.
I knew that one was coming.
That one's been out. Thank you very much.
That's one I would kind of play though.
It's
I
who's
actually like Clue.
Who's really the doppelganger that's murdered someone? Yeah, that's what you're trying to figure out.
This now.
So it's,
I actually like Clue.
Yeah, so it's the idea is
I don't hate Clue.
Is you're like it's Clue, except the plot is like, you know, you're all like the characters and you're trying to look to find out who's the doppelganger that committed a murder or something, you know, or crime.
You could do a D&D adventure, but you just use this board game.
Someone owns D&D Clue.
No.
Either Joe or Blaze owns D&D Clue. They did get it. Anyway, but yeah, Clue, Monopoly, D&D.
D&D.
On your journey, treasure and encounter cards will dictate random instances of fortune and downfall, so it's basically Chance and Community Chest, except renamed.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, that's all they are, right?
I mean, does it have cursed items?
Monopoly doesn't change.
In lieu
no
of
matter
railroad
what
spaces are Tomb of Horror and Castle Ravenloft, to name some.
Would that be Electric Company and Water Company? Because there's only two.
I think
Railroads is 4.
I think they say to name some, so they probably have others on there for.
Oh, okay, that's possible. I
yeah,
wonder what Boardwalk is.
I don't know.
I mean, I both love and hate Monopoly, so like I'm all for this in a like non-ironic way. I will not buy it, but I like it. I like that it exists.
I agree on these things. Now, there's one final topic, because this is a weird one that I found that's from this week. So, just for a little bit of Inception, hey, do you all remember that Disney and Pixar put out that movie Onward a while ago? Which was like a fantasy world, where they were on a quest or something. I vaguely remember it. Apparently in that...
I might know more if I saw more.
Anyway, apparently in that, they had... One of the people was a nerd and played basically a role-playing game. Guess what Usaopoly made?
Oh,
A physical copy of that role-playing game from the movie.
Oh, no.
Uh-huh.
don't think I like this.
It is the weirdest inception of things.
Yeah, it's you're playing a game from a movie.
That was a fantasy movie, technically.
Yeah.
It was like a modern fantasy, but it was still a fantasy movie. It's just weird. Usaopoly.
Yeah,
2 to 5
Usaopoly
players.
is very weird.
Ages 8 and up. Defend the dudes.
Do I want to click on this link, though?
No.
Oh, what is it? Oh, I mean, I like this movie.
Yeah. It's supposed to be a pretty good movie.
The movie's pretty good. It's full of D&D references, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So apparently, like...
I am, like, so done with movies. Like, I just
Fair.
don't even care anymore.
I really like this movie, but I don't understand what this is. I came back from going to the bathroom to see this.
This is supposed to be the, like, D&D role-playing game, I think the younger brother...
In the movie.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's interesting, I guess. I mean, you could just play D&D.
Yeah, you could just play D&D.
Just play D&D. It's what it was. It's literally what it was.
Yes, you can just play D&D. This is.
Or you could spice it up and play Pathfinder.
Oh, if you want to hate yourself, yeah.
First edition Pathfinder, though.
Yeah, first edition Pathfinder, which hates you. Oh, welcome to the game.
Yes.
Freeze for your first character. Oh, now throw that one away and roll a new one.
Oh, you're a level 1 character. Ooh.
Oh, well, you're dead now. Well, I didn't even play. No, you're dead. Just make a new character now. That one was garbage.
Speaking of first edition Pathfinder, because I feel like that's one of the last systems that this issue really came up a lot in. Let's talk about a deeper discussion. Yeah. Power gaming and Munchkins.
I love power gaming.
I'm going to give a spicy take that some people think is spicy for some reason on the internet. Power gaming is fun.
Yes,
I agree.
It can be fun. It's not automatically bad.
The problem is when you sacrifice everything.
Yes.
And you aren't or role playing it at all. You're just like, I'm the best thing ever, even though I have a 9 intelligence and wisdom.
I think it's what it is there's a difference between power gaming and being a Munchkin. And I think that's the issue that there is. Like, for those of you that don't know, like, and like the board game Munchkin technically references, and that's why it's called this. It's one of the role-playing terms is a Munchkin is a person that effectively min-maxes to incredible extremes that make it ridiculous. It's the idea of like a very tiny person with a gigantic weapon. You know, it's like you're playing like the halfling with a great sword that they're using one-handed or something, or a great sword in each hand. And it's like
you have read all of the source books, and you know the best feats to take and the most optimal class and race combo to make it so that you can do 1 or 2 things that are so stupidly powerful that you could basically never ever fail when you do those 1 or 2 things. Yes.
Yeah. So there's definitely a difference. Well, power gaming is optimizing a character in such a way that makes them powerful.
Yeah.
You know,
which I like doing. I also tend to make it so that they have a reason for being like that, and they're not just like, I am really strong and I am super good at this thing.
I will use the recent example of something I absolutely power game. In Wednesday, I play a character currently named Olivia. She is a very power game blaster because the party needed that. And it's fun to be a blaster.
Oh, you do so much damage. It's ridiculous.
But I didn't Munchkin her because I still wanted her to be bad at certain things.
Or be a character.
Yeah, be a person.
Yeah. That's another thing, is if you go to certain extremes, you will not roleplay, like, obvious flaws. Like, when I was like, oh, you know, the character who is a super genius when they only have, like, 8 intelligence, and realistically, they shouldn't be a super genius. You know? It's like, oh, but they have this feat that makes it so that they're really smart about this thing. It's like, cool, well, you're dumb about everything else.
Yep.
I think it's the idea that, like, when people talk about power gaming, you automatically go to being a Munchkin because
that's what people assume, because they're similar in a way, but still very different.
They
are very similar.
And they're technically connected because if you're being a Munchkin, you are power gaming. That's you know.
The difference is one of them cuts all the corners to get the best lap time. Where the other one might cut 1 or 2 corners, maybe on purpose, maybe by accident, and then get a good lap time. As opposed to the person who's like, I only drive the speed limit.
And the thing is, power gaming, you can do it by accident. You don't. You can wander into like a build that you're like, oh my god, what the hell is this build?
Like a certain paladin,
like a certain paladin that Lightning and I collectively made just by looking at. We were like, oh, this would be a cool idea. Oh, it's kind of broken.
It's very broken.
I can give the perfect example of what is exactly power gaming. That actually slips from power gaming into munchkinning by accident. Because it went so far. This was 3.5. Back in the day, a friend of mine, we were making characters for an adventure. He decided, because we could be base races, one of them, we were like starting at like level 3, and like there was a +1 like level adjustment base race called Half Ogre. You were still medium sized, but you had powerful builds, so you could use like a size category larger weapons. You get a big bonus to strength, things like that. Pretty cool. Okay. He decided to be a Warblade from the Book of Nine Swords. Book of Nine Swords is a thing that exists, that I will always say exists.
I mean, that sounds like the 3rd edition problem, where there's so many books and not all of them are balanced, so that when you start adding in all these other books, it breaks the game.
Let me put it this way: the Book of the Nine Swords. We before this, we had a joke about someone like taking a weird prestige class called Clown Lord, because it was like basically the power gaming thing, because you had the ability to turn into a cockroach and deal 100 damage. It was the joke. It was like the power gaming joke of like, oh, you're gonna be like power game. Then take Clown Lord, it's the prestige class.
I become cockroach, die.
Exactly.
Power word kill. It's undercasted, so it's not 150 hit points.
Yeah, but there was literally a power in that book that just did an extra 100 damage. So that's what we joked about.
That's a lot.
It was a martial, like, special power, like, kind of book, so you had, like, martial abilities, and some of them just added straight damage rather than dice. Okay. That's weird enough as it is. So, as a Warblade, he decided to take Spike Chain. Spike Chain had a 10-foot reach for if you were medium-sized. He could have a large one because of Half Ogre. Okay, so now he's got, like, a huge radius. It went up from 2d6 to 3d6. No, it went from 2d4 to 2d6. Then, now we add Warblade in. He had a stance he could activate at the beginning of combat that basically added to all of his melee attacks an extra d6 damage. And then, he had powers he could activate that added extra dice to damage and stuff like that for various turns. So it ended up that he was able to do, like, I think like 4d6 to anything around him, and he had like a 20-foot radius around him, and then he had like combat expertise or combat reflexes, the one that gives you extra attacks of opportunity. So he basically had like the monster rape radius, that just like, everything comes in, destroy, destroy, destroy. We were playing and like nothing melee could fight us.
Order of the Stick made a joke about this. It wasn't quite as that extreme. It was more of the not Munchkin but like power game, right? And it was, I think they were like an orc or something, like a half orc or something, and they had like a heavy flail or something, which has got reach. And so what they would do is, it kind of had like the Sentinel build. I'm assuming there's a version of Sentinel for 3rd edition, because that's what they reference in Order of the Stick. And basically, the fighter is like, I'm going to come at you, and it's like, oh, attack of opportunity, because I have a reach weapon. Oh, I hit you, you drop your speed to 0 for this turn. And then they couldn't hit him, because they got stopped at reach. And so then, what they would do is they'd attack, and then step backwards. And so they just kind of repeated this over and over again, because that's how that build worked. And it's fundamentally, as long as they hit, I believe, impossible to counter with another melee character that doesn't have reach. But in the Order of the Stick comic, eventually there was a cliff and the person walked off the cliff and fell and died, which made it hilarious, but they were also making a joke about like how powerful like certain builds are.
Yeah.
5e doesn't allow this level of extremeness.
No.
Because there are limits to things, and most of the time those limitations are in favor of more balanced things. Because like Sentinel uses a reaction, though I believe there is a way to get more reactions. I think you have to take Sentinel to get more reactions.
Yes,
because it doesn't use a reaction anymore. Yeah. So, but like that is a very, very specific thing, and if your DM knows you're doing that, they can either just have NPCs avoid you or not put you in corridor battles.
Yep.
Because otherwise, you are. If you're literally in a 15-foot corridor, no one can get past you as long as you like hit them. So if you are min-maxing like strength, and I don't think you can get attack bonus in 5e. I think it's a bonus to damage if you're using a one-handed weapon, which again wouldn't work in this because you probably want to have a reach weapon.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get huge amounts of two-hit modifiers unless you have magical weapons.
But like back in the day for that adventure, it caused issues because we were technically all mostly melee build. We didn't have we had some ranged, but it wasn't great, you know. So the thing is, that's why it ended up so terrible, because it's sort of like, well, our DM had to adjust range to counter him, but then it countered all of us.
Yeah.
Way back in the day, when I DM'd my first game of Pathfinder, so long ago that I've forgotten most of the rules to Pathfinder.
Yeah.
I had a player who snuck in a ton of min-maxing. So in response to this, I just min-maxed monsters to deal with it.
I bet you the party died.
He died, and then I stopped min-maxing monsters.
Oh yeah, well that works too.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. If someone is power gaming, right, and they're just making a really powerful character, you don't have to do a lot to get around it, because they're usually only be really strong at like one or two things. If someone's munchkining, they're going to be amazing at a couple of things, right? Maybe only one thing. And if that one thing is like combat, you know, as a DM, you can just do things because you can look at their sheet and be like, wow, this character is really amazing at fighting, but they have negative wisdom saves or will saves or whatever. And you just have a big meaty dude who's got lots of hit points, fight him, and then have a mage cast stuff on him.
Yeah.
As a DM, you can get around that, but it's not good to have that attitude, because while you can kind of avoid it, you are doing the stereotype of DM versus players.
Yeah.
And that's because the player has created a problem.
Yeah. It's just unfortunate when people munchkin, because as a DM, you should put a stop to it. Or if you catch it, you should mention, hey, tone it down a little bit. You might ruin the fun for other players.
Yeah.
It's also weird sometimes, because it's like, I think the worst issue, that there was a really terrible munchkining issue that we encountered, that unfortunately, there was both an fortunate and an unfortunate part of the entire thing. I was playing in a game where it was 3rd edition, and I was running one that we decided to use the Gestalt rules.
Oh, no.
Gestalt is an interesting concept, I will tell you. It is very hard to run. Because what Gestalt is you effectively have a person be two classes at once at the same time. So you take a look at your two classes, and you take the best of both of them. Best hit dice, best skills, best base attack, best saves, the class abilities of both. It's very powerful. It is. It's not necessarily the end-all, be-all. You know, it's like, there were some really, cool combinations we discovered when we were exploring it and stuff like that. There were some things that, it does have disadvantages in. Maybe, I could be two spellcasting classes at once. Awesome. They're still the same level.
That's a lot of spells, though.
But it's a lot of spells. Or, we discovered that if you're a barbarian bard, you have the best of all statistics in 3rd edition. You had the best hit dice, best skills, all good saves, full base attack bonus.
I think rogues get more skills per level than bard, but bard is right after it. It's like 8 versus 6.
I think it also gave you like some it gave you enough that barbarian was the best choice for
reasons. No, bard is pretty good. Yeah. I'd argue that bard is better in 5th edition than it is in 3rd edition because it's a full spellcaster.
So,
but yeah,
I had someone in my game have a I think it was he was like a half orc fighter samurai, and he was using the samurai class from Oriental Adventures because it's still 3.0 3.5. He became an EI Jitsu master. He was their melee build. He was gross. He murdered the shit out of everything that existed. He was built very one-dimensionally. Basically meant to be just, I murder everything that exists.
Now, I don't know how close it was to the actual book rules, but you talking about that, I played on a server that used a lot of expanded rules for the 3rd edition 3.5 stuff. It's kind of its own bastardy version of 3rd edition. It's kind of like, I call it 3.1, basically is what I call it. It's a video game, so they can't do everything perfectly.
Yeah.
But the modders added Oriental Adventures kind of thing, and Samurai was in there, Ninja was in there and stuff. And Ninja is like a hybrid class of Rogue and Monk, I think it was. At least how the modders did it. I don't know about the actual book rules. And that class was so disgustingly broken just by itself. You didn't have to do anything to it. Just have dex, have wisdom, and you're a rogue. And you have key abilities and stuff. And it was this thing is disgusting. They also added in different races you could play, and Rakasha was one of them. And I think that's a level 3, 4, or 5 adjustment class or race or whatever. And they didn't have any level adjustment, or rather the level adjustment was experience and not levels. So you could still be level 20. It just took you a hell of a lot longer because you needed 5 extra levels of experience. And you were so powerful at level 1. It's I feel really bad that I'm allowed to play this without any special rules or whatever going on. So I had this Rakasha character, and I think I was a spellcaster. I was immune to basically every spellcaster in that game on that server because none of the spellcasters that you could fight randomly in the dungeons were a high enough level to get past my spell resistance at level 1. It was so disgusting. You also had damage resistance, or you had soak, and most creatures didn't have magical weapons, so they couldn't damage you. It was I felt bad playing it. It was so ridiculously broken.
Yeah, the thing about that character in the Gestalt game was that the player ended up not being there a lot. He couldn't be there a lot, so the character mostly became an NPC, and we discovered he was useful as an NPC. He was still their only melee character, but the problem is the person played him how do I describe this? Very, not murder hobo-y, but a step down from it. He was just a complete ass. Oh, that's why I remember.
Hobo.
I remember why. He had a monster template. He was feral. So he acted like a monster the entire time, and we'd be like, what was it? A pickpocket stole from him. He chopped off the child's arm.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, I would never do that.
Calm down, Norman.
It was and
I didn't hurt anybody, I'll have you know.
This was bad enough because then another person, because look, they had some pretty horrible people on their team because another pickpocket stole from another one, their monk type guy, and their monk guy was I'm gonna break all the bones in his arms and legs, and then their kitsune captain of their ship was just I'm just gonna go and mercy kill a couple of kids because
Jesus.
They're not recovering. They're not recovering from what they've done to them.
Lord.
I'm just gonna mercy kill them.
You are running an evil campaign that is the least evil campaign I have ever seen done. I could be more evil in my sleep than that game. And you're and this other game that was not evil, people were horribly evil.
Yeah, the one was horribly evil, and the other one was lawful to the extreme. It was you must be punishment to the full extent of this. The limbs must be broken in order to teach you a lesson, child.
Jesus.
And I'm like, healing magic isn't that common enough that he's gonna get better. This kid will never recover, and that's why, like, he's like, oh well. And that's why
learned his lesson for all time.
And then the kitsune was just like, I'm just gonna change you to a fox and just
so ate them like Ling.
Well, just go up to like the neck and just like bite. Or, like, just hold down the neck for a little bit, and then
That's
leave.
Awful.
Just leave.
It's awful. Oh, let's not be on this topic anymore.
Jesus.
The mercy killing was pretty bad, but it was also, like, I don't know if it was better or worse to leave that kid in the shape that they were.
They're both really awful.
Yeah, I mean, like...
That was the worst thing that character, like, the one that chopped off the arm, that was normal for him, you know,
that's just normal.
That was normal. He did horrible things like that all the time, you know. The other one, I'm like, Jesus, when did you go so extreme, like, lawful?
Oh, God.
This was also one where someone was there for a session, made a character I really, really hated, and told him not to play, and then he wouldn't resist, and we didn't have time to wait, so I just had to play it, and I'm like, I literally said to everybody, I'm sending spite monsters to murder him. And then, like, another one of the players was like, I shall face them head-on by myself! And I'm like, you're an idiot.
You dumbass.
And the person then dropped and almost died. But I'm like, I'm spending spite monsters to get rid of the person. Anyway.
Fair.
Spite monsters. Go to the nearest game store near you.
I'm just like, look, everybody else, know this. These are spite monsters for that guy. You leave them alone. I'm not having spite for the entire team. This is targeted. No.
Yeah, but slightly back more on topic.
Anyway, yeah.
I like having a strong character.
Yeah.
The characters usually are only going to be good at one or two things, unless they're like a mage, because mages are like amazing at everything because they're mages. Except for at being stabbed. Mages are terrible at being stabbed.
I mean, you could sneeze on a mage and it'll kill him.
The lower the level, the less likely the mage will live, especially if your DM hates mages.
Yeah.
But like, D&D is kind of like the power fantasy, right? That's what a lot of it is.
Yeah.
So it's like, if I wanted to play Steve the Commoner, I'd just not play D&D and just like wander around a town or something and just, you know, live a regular human life. That's not why I go to play D&D. So like, I'll use an example of a character that in the game that ended, I was playing a Asmer fighter, and I kind of wanted to go into mage levels because I really like playing mages. I was Eldritch Knight. After playing Eldritch Knight, I can say that it's probably only good up until like 7th level, and even then, it's like, you just play a wizard and then dip into a martial class if you want to fight better. But I was like a max strength, very high con bruiser character. Unfortunately, I was the only tank, and I'm not playing a tank, I'm playing a DPS because of how I built the character. And it was really fun when I had those moments where, like, I'm going to action surge and attack more, and I did so much damage. I could put out 100 damage on a single turn. It was great. Then I got horribly maimed on the next turn, but that one turn was great. It felt awesome.
Like, I mean, yeah, powerful characters are fun. They're just fun to play. Like, and nothing is more unfun than playing a character that's honestly so bad that they're just borderline not functional.
Yeah, I've unfortunately played those.
Yeah, me too.
And it's like I want to fix this character because I like this character. I like the RP of this character, but what I made isn't what I wanted, and I'm not having fun with it.
I've done that before plenty of times.
I think I've encountered a lot of like the little bit of the other things too. Is like that you just don't the character you built doesn't fit to a campaign, and you don't.
Yeah, I've done that too.
And you don't realize that until like you're playing in it, and you're like, oh god, this is such a bad fit. This doesn't. The themes
I've done that too.
Doesn't fit like what's going on, and like even when you're like are playing through a campaign, things can just break down. Unfortunately, sometimes and just doesn't work the way you want it to.
I had a character that was both very mechanically complex, underpowered, and not fitting and setting all at the same time.
Nice.
It's kind of like, well, how can we make this character better? And it's like, you cannot make this character better unless I get levels or magical items. We are level 2 or level 3. There's nothing you can do to make this character better. And so eventually I just retired that character and I started playing something that was, you know, a Aasimar fighter that could hit the crap out of things for lots of damage, which was fun.
I mean, fighters are just fun.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd play just a straight fighter again, to be honest.
I've played somewhat, I mean, as far as you can, min-max and 5e, a somewhat 5e min-max fighter, and it may have been one of the most fun things because it was me not having to think and I just hit things.
If you are playing a fighter archer, that is pretty disgusting. Because you can get
God,
+2.
it is.
Yeah, it's
I
really
had
disgusting.
by the end of the campaign, my fighter had the tankard of sobriety and the pendant that was like, if you drink this much alcohol, you heal. So I didn't need a cleric. After battle, I would just drink a shit ton of alcohol and heal.
Nice.
It's like I can name characters that I've had that aren't. I can name some characters that I've had that would technically be considered like more of a Munchkin character because like I've always been one that has sometimes inadvertently but sometimes very directly leaned towards power gaming myself. But like my archer character in Pathfinder, it is one of those things. Pathfinder archers are broken.
Yep.
Period. I did not realize how broken they were until I made a fighter archer and was just like, I can throw out 7 arrows in one round at like 13th level, and like each one does like a D8 plus like 10. So I mean like, and it didn't take a lot to build into that, you know. That's like 13th level, pretty high level, but I'm still like I'm murdering everything. Other things are like, I'm sorry, 5th edition, Andros, that I'm playing now. He is kind of power gamed inadvertently. I'm sorry.
Which one is this?
The elephant. Luxodon.
Oh, the
elephant that
elephant.
never forgets.
The Luxodon druid. It was a combination of, we rolled stats. I rolled pretty good, but I was able to put like, I was able to start with a 19 in Constitution. We're 4th level. I have a 20 Constitution. Constitution goes to hit points and AC. You know, it's like we've rolled or taken like the normal like average, whichever is higher. Yeah. I've rolled maximum or 1 away from maximum every hit dice I've rolled.
Jesus.
I really like that change. It's something
it's such a good rule.
Yeah, it's something that you've done in your game. It's something I do in my game when rolling for hit points. You can roll. If you get under average, you just take average. So then, I feel you get the sense of rolling. So like you could get something really amazing, but you also don't have that extreme low of like, oh, I got a 1 or I get 3 hit points.
I played a long time ago. I played a wizard in a game where we just did straight roll for HP, and 3 levels in a row, three levels in a row, I rolled 1 HP, and I just wanted to die.
In the Grinding Gears game, I rolled a couple levels for HP as a sorcerer and a non-dragon-born sorcerer kind of thing. You know, the not dragon bloodline.
Yeah,
and I rolled under once or twice, and I really, really felt it when we got to higher levels. I had so little hit points. In a single turn, I could have been down and killed instantly.
Yep.
It was like, I hate this.
But yeah,
that wizard never broke 100 HP.
Yeah.
Because it was a long campaign, he just never broke 100 HP. Yeah, it was very sad.
My fighter, at the very end of the game, I think we were level 10 or 11. I had Indomitable, so I think that's I don't know if we were 12, but I didn't have over 100 hit points. I had like 96 or something. The rogue might have had more hit points than me, especially because the rogue had some really ridiculous random thing happen, which basically effectively doubled their hit points, not literally, but effectively. So effective hit points. So they had like 120 effective hit points at the end of the game as a rogue. They were so stupidly tanky, and they were a ranged character.
Jeez.
So it's like it's just like the luck of the rolls. It's like, oh, let's roll a D100 to see what happens. Oh, that's a 99. Wow. All right. Okay, let's roll another to figure out what the effect is. Oh crap! It's this effect. And that was like the last like 3 games or whatever. But that took their power level up from like, I mean, they're a rogue in 5e, so they're already pretty strong.
Yeah.
But it took them from like a 7 to an 11 in the power scale.
God.
It was like, it was so stupidly broken. But they were ranged, so they didn't even use that amazing ability they had. They were so broken if they were a melee fighter.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, yeah, you can easily sometimes avoid it. Like Andra's Star Druid is gross.
Star Druid is so disgusting.
Yeah, so that's why I'm also Star
That's
Druid.
what Roval is?
That's what
Roval's is Star Druid. Star Druid is basically so much damage output.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like that's something you kind of like. Those were kind of like I stumbled upon. Like the true essence of stupid power gaming has to be my 2 characters from like the first favorite game, the game that we called our favorite games because we were set in favorite. The first one was a fighter, sorcerer, rogue, drow. We started at 5th level.
What? How?
We started at 5th level. It was 2 level adjustment to be drow in third edition, and then
so we're a level 1.
Yeah, a fighter, sorcerer, rogue.
Someone has commitment issues.
I mean, I'll tell you this. I have also played the fighter, wizard, rogue. I don't know if I was wizard at first, but I was fighter, and then I was rogue, and then I dipped into like either wizard or sorcerer to get a couple little buff spells. I've done it. That character, I technically still play that character. They are no longer a fighter, rogue, wizard anymore. They are just wizard, paled master, for assassin.
But I think I also had like a stupid spell which was like you can you could toss a sword out or a blade out and it would go in a line, hitting everything in the line. And I had a great sword. Of course I had a great sword. I'm a fighter. So I could do great sword with it. So I just like great sworded in a line all the time.
Oh god.
And then like if they're unaware with me, I could also like sneak attack them if they were unaware of me or something too. So I was like, sneak a booming sword.
I both love and hate 3rd edition because 3rd edition you can be just so stupidly broken. Just be like, I'm gonna take this feat and this feat, and I'm gonna use this class. I'm gonna grab this prestige class, which is gonna improve all this stuff, and you're just broken. You're just straight broken, and it's technically 100% legal. It's just disgusting.
My friend who was playing the Warblade, his class was completely legal. It was all standard. None of it was third party. It just was so broken. God.
Yeah. I kind of stop the line at being broken when I do characters. I want the character to excel at what, like, roleplay wise. This is how I do power gaming. I build a concept of what I want the character to be, and I build that character to be strong at that concept. Like, I really wanted my my Asmer fighter to be better at magic and stuff with arcana and stuff, but because of how the stats rolled out and how 5e works, they were just kind of average. And to be on a little branchy soapbox for a second, I really hate it when the non-magical rogue could roll our arcana check and get more information than the Eldritch Knight, who actually has levels of wizardy, basically.
That's why, that's why, in my opinion, for certain people, you raise or lower DCs, depending on what kind of background information they would have from their, life.
Yeah. I would allow people to roll, but I would give them different information. Be like, if you want to roll Arcana, sure, but like, if you don't have any magic, like if Marty's like, I want to roll Arcana on this, it's like, all right, this reminds you of a book you've read once, and then like, if the wizard or sorcerer rolls it, they're gonna get something completely different, especially if they roll high,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something I get irked over. Is something that is outside your specialization that you can roll for, and because of the nature of rolling, like you could nat 20 it. Well, you can't just be like, you learned nothing because they rolled a nat 20, but then at the same time, you shouldn't have allowed them to roll that if you didn't want that. So it's kind of a thing and slightly off topic.
Yeah. No, I mean, it fits within the entire idea that, like, people can power up into certain areas that aren't necessarily built for their characters in, like, a gameplay sense. And, like, I think a Munchkin can still have personality, but I think a Munchkin skirts on being broken. Broken is not something that we kind of brought in here, because when you have a broken character, it's just so overpowered, it breaks the ability for the game to be balanced.
It's not fun for anyone involved. It really isn't. Like, your other players don't have fun with it. The DM certainly isn't going to have fun dealing with it.
The person maybe, but like it'll be brief. It'll be like a mwah ha 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 kind of moment.
And then you're gonna get bored because you're too good at everything.
Yeah, I feel like it might be exciting at first, but then if it happens consistently because you are always going to be broken and it wasn't just like a really good roll, then I think it's like, oh, well, you know, maybe the player really just likes it all the time. Maybe they get bored of it, but certainly the rest of the party and the DM are going to get tired of it.
Yeah.
I think it's good to understand the power level of the game you're doing, and then the power level of your people too, because different people build characters differently, and then that kind of brings down to what the power level of your game should be. You know, like a good example would be like Carrying Crown has a standard power level. Your characters, when you first built them, were underpowered, I would call them.
Ooh, massively.
Oh boy, yeah, they were.
So yeah, the first iteration of characters, everyone was underpowered. Like, everyone was. Some characters were in such a position that, like, it wasn't bad for them. You know, like, I think Jess's character is...
Beatrix was mostly fine.
Because
Beatrix built a standard witch, basically.
Technically speaking, if Lyra had been played properly, Lyra would have been bad. The person just insisted on playing the character in
a way that is bad for that class.
Yeah.
Especially at early levels.
Suboptimal.
Not Lyra wasn't bad mechanic wise. Just suboptimally played. And that's from someone who didn't know how to play Pathfinder, which is, I think, fair.
I think Zoram initially was fine.
He was fine, and then I made a dumb decision.
Yeah. Well, again, didn't know that there was...
If I had just known Hunter existed, because I think that's my fault for making characters too early in the morning. And the PDSFRD is not the easiest thing to read.
No.
Because there's, like... Instead of all the classes in one area, there's, like... Classes are just in different areas.
They classify them into different groupings
because they're from different books and stuff and things like that.
The funny thing about this is early Ling. We basically have early Ling now with Emil or not Emil. What is our weird orc man name? It's Cell who joined.
Oh God. I'm so bad with names. Why do I not remember this guy's name?
They're playing a sorcerer who can use healing spells, which is kind of what I wanted to do. And then I had this concept in my mind, and I'm like, wow, that concept sounds really good. And I was just like, I'm going to ignore everything else about this because I didn't read ahead. And because I didn't read ahead, I ended up being like, wow, this is not at all what I wanted to play. And,
What exactly was the issue with Anne? Because I don't even remember anymore. There was a lot of things.
Anne was, the fact is that, like...
They were armored
Battle Mage Magus.
Right.
Armored Battle Mage Magus
which made them really good at tanking in a game that you can't really have a designated tank because it's not an MMO. There's no threat generation.
Yeah,
and you can't just press a button.
It really limited the potential of their spells, and now they have the opposite problem
with the
correct limitations.
With the correct team, the original Anne build would have been better. But the fact is, you had much more of a melee focus for like the main front lines. Like, it was the unfortunate thing that, like, if you look at things, there wasn't really a lot of like actual ranged combat abilities. If Beatrix was getting into combat, she was using her hair. That was melee. If Zoram was getting into combat, melee. if Ling was getting into combat, probably going to avoid that entirely, actually.
Yeah, Ling was terrible for combat.
To be fair, though, Zoram did have the issue of I definitely should have just gone with shooty bows, but due to the way everyone built characters, we didn't have frontline people, so I got pressed into kind of having to split my focus, which kind of really you can't do as Ranger in Pathfinder. You got to focus one.
Yeah, we had basically one dedicated frontline person at the start of the game.
And then, unfortunately, we, for later adventures, would have had a really good range character. However, guns don't hurt ghosts.
We also had a really good frontline person for like 3 games. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Ashiel or whatever.
Ashiel was a really good frontline character.
They had a really cool build too. I mean, like, I would be tempted to play that, even though I'm kind of like.
It was a really cool build, yeah.
No, yeah, that was a neat build. That was.
I mean, that's all the thing with Pathfinder. You can play a fighter that's very different from like every other fighter.
Yeah, definitely. But it's kind of like just straight fighter. I think I'd get bored. Honestly.
Yeah, probably.
So that's why I have I think it's the crafting wizard idea.
Yeah, you have crafting wizard. I have
which
blaster
is technically
sorcerer.
A fighter.
Yeah.
I'm not playing it in Carrying Crown. It's for if you ever do pirate game.
A game that may happen eventually.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm gonna redo. If it does happen, I'm gonna redo mine.
Theoretically, as soon as Records is stopping, I'm gonna start taking a look at it again. Because then I'll be at least down one game, and like, I wanna be in an emotionally stable place with my games. You know, like that I feel good about all of them. When technically speaking, one has been hurting my soul a lot. One of them has been halfway hurting my soul because I love the game a lot, but it's really hard to play. It's been really hard to play for large periods of time. Recently.
Speaking of games, is this a good way to just go into our weekly tabletop?
Yeah.
Sure.
We've
pretty much covered the power gaming stuff.
Yeah, I think we kind of hit on it. It's like, don't be afraid to power game. Just be careful how
make a character.
It can be fun, but make sure you don't go too far. Make sure you have an actual person.
Yeah. You can have a powerful character, but at the end of the day, they should be a character, not, man, am I good at hitting things with a sword?
Yeah, not like, they shouldn't be numbers, they should be a person.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. And just watch that you make sure that you don't go too far on the building regardless.
And if you think you are, ask your DM, hey, is this too much?
Yeah.
And, you know.
Because, like, I gotta admit, there are certain characters, like Captain Ridiculous Radius Broken, he wasn't a bad character. You know, for the little bit the person played him before we, like, had to be like, no, you have to play something else. He wasn't a bad character.
It's just really broken.
He was just really broken. You know? It was just the accidental, like, oops, I built something that murders everything in existence.
Oh, so we've had a lot of missed games.
Yeah.
Did we miss yours last week?
We did, because
yours last week because we were all kind of dying.
We also didn't have Discussing Tabletop last week.
We didn't.
No, because I was kind of like, I probably can't talk much, and then so it was like I could talk a little, but it would be like an hour maybe.
Yeah.
But it's like I could still talk or type, right? And it's kind of like, if you guys want to sort out downtime stuff now, we can do that. No one did, so I just did nothing.
Yeah, I think I just relaxed the entire Saturday then.
I spent my Saturday trying to be in a better emotional place.
2 weeks ago.
We had records though. We had boat fight. Yeah, we did a boat fight. Shit. Yeah.
I want you guys to talk about the boat fight.
Oh man.
Because I made the rules. I made quick and dirty rules for boat combat.
The rules we used for boat combat were so much better than the garbage rules 5e gives you, because 5e's boat rules are a complicated mess.
Yeah.
We just used the simple rules of boat moves this, cannon is attack action, actions are, I think there were like a minute, you can do other things.
Yeah.
But you can only fire once because cannons take time to reload.
Yeah, yeah. They were minute-long turns because it was like, yeah, it's gonna take a while for them to be reloaded. You know, you've got crew; they will be helping you reload, but it's still gonna take like a minute. So if you wanted to do something on a turn, it wasn't like you have 6 seconds to decide and then do things. It's like, no, you got like a minute. You can run around the boat. You can talk to people. You can help out other things.
I can run up to the front of the boat, just launch an arrow to the air, and just watch the guy at the helm of the other ship get impaled.
Yeah. I was fine with that still taking a minute because it's like you're aiming, right? It's a really long shot. Like, you're on a moving target, you know. You had disadvantage for a lot of
Count for the win. A lot of disadvantage. Just count for the win. Just whook, and just like, you know.
Yeah. And then we had it was Kilmer and Viren on cannons. Was Marty on cannons at first
Marty
and then
was
left?
on cannons originally and then left.
Okay, to go fire a bow.
Yeah,
in naval combat.
Because the thing is, I think it's also like we had like each of us could control one of the banks, and like we only had 2 on each side, and we only ever fired on one side. So I was like, I'll go do something else, you know. I think Viren, you can take over the other side with Kelman.
I think I nat 20'd a cannon twice.
Yeah. Kelmer was originally helping, so you had like advantage on your shots. Someone had advantage.
Yeah.
And then you switched to doing them twice. And I also had rules for like grape shot. So you had regular ball ammunition, which just did damage to the hull, right? And then there was like grape shot, which you could either target the sails or you could try and target the people. I can tell you guys it was a DC 15 or something is what you needed to hit them. So it was not impossible. Kelmer like missed all of them.
Kelmer missed a lot.
Kelmer was specifically trying to target the sails to slow it down, which actually benefited you afterwards because you boarded the ship.
We stole the ship.
And you fought 15 cultists.
Yeah, but like 5 of them got to the point where they could surrender. Several were just beaten to a bloody pulp. A few were incinerated.
Some got arrowed.
I was really worried about that fight. Because it's like, action economy wise, I have because there was 16. Marty killed 1, I believe. Yeah. You killed 1 of them because there was a regular dude piloting, and then you're like, I'm gonna shoot him. So he's like, he's a commoner basically. Yeah, he's injured or dead or whatever. I think I might have killed him. And then like a cultist took over. And you're like, I'm gonna kill this guy too. And it's kind of like, all right, you missed. And it's like, what? Because he had like 15 aces.
And then Viren took the shot and killed him.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
Or no. Roval fucking guiding bolted.
Oh, that's right, because Guiding Bolt's got like 120-foot range or whatever.
And I think we did get some damage on some of the crew on deck, too.
I took out a bunch of crew. I also took out a cannon, which stopped them from firing a lot.
Yeah, I think you got like a nat 20 or something.
Yeah, and it took out one of the cannons.
Roll another thing. All right, that entire cannon crew is like badly maimed and injured. Yeah.
And then we politely forced them to sail back to town and took the ship.
Yeah.
So now we have a warship now, basically.
Yeah. Because it's like, I will buy this ship from you, and you're in because you went back to talk to the trade lady, and she's like, I'll buy it from you at an appropriate value that I think is worth it, because you guys didn't just destroy the ship, which would have been pretty hard because
I had a lot of
outgunned.
HP. Ships have so much HP.
Not the way I was doing it.
Oh, okay. I'm curious how you were doing ship HP.
So, funny thing is, I basically took the rules from the board game of the game that I'm making, and you guys are basically a upgraded trade ship, and they were in a low-grade warship because they technically had 12 guns, so they had 6 guns per side.
Yeah.
Which was like, you guys opened fire immediately because they were just gonna try and board you, like as spoilers. They did a firing shot. They're like, it's a warning shot, right? We're gonna come and blow you up if you don't let us. And you're like immediately like, let's fire back at them. So it's a gun duel with a transport that's been modified and an actual warship. So your ship had 100 hit points. Their ship had 150.
Damn.
But because it was 2d6 damage each time, just a flat 2d6. they would out damage you because they had 4 more guns. But they rolled really bad, and you guys did a lot of things to help make it harder for them to hit you. You started going, instead of broadsiding them, you went straight on them, at them, which you didn't get to shoot back, but it meant that they had like a +5 to hit you, so they had to roll like a 15 or something.
Yeah.
And they might have still had disadvantage at that point, because
I think they still did. Range. And then... then there was a point where we were like going just straight at each other, and their pilots, is that what you call someone who drives the boat, died, and they couldn't turn.
Yeah, the helmsman.
Yeah. You killed the helmsman, so then you guys brought it back around the broadside, and I think you were in regular range at that point, so you didn't have disadvantage, so you managed to hit like twice, and you might have taken out one of the cannons at this point.
Yeah.
But when you started specifically firing the chain shot that hurt the crew, that's when the battle kind of turned for you. Because if it was just a straight up gunnery duel, you would have lost.
Yeah.
There was also Roval the druid was like, can I do something like with shape water and try to like bail out the water? And I'm like, sure. And I did that as healing the ship. That's how I did that. So because there's been like a whole minute.
You could hold back the water and someone boards it up and repairs.
Yeah. So like that's why I gave that, because it was just kind of like I wanted it to be a more role play, me react what the players want to do, and I thought that was a good thing for like you're bailing water out. That's basically like giving the ship more hit points, because it's like it's higher in the water now, it's less likely to sink. So that's how I rolled it. And I think it was like a 2d4 heal or something. Out of 100, so you know it's okay, you know. Yeah. And so many cultists.
Oh, there are
so many cultists.
There's a lot of cultists.
Yeah, I had them surrendering at 5 hit points. They had 20. When you hit them with the chain shot, it did 10 damage basically, so they were like bloodied. There was a lot of them that got bloodied. There was a lot of crits. There was a lot of disadvantage. The boat was still technically moving, so flying characters, when the top of the initiative came up, got thrown 40 feet, because that's how fast the boat was.
You must got yeeted into a mast.
Yeah, I was like, all right, Varen, give me a dex save or acrobatics check or something, because the mast is coming at you.
Oh no.
Which you got like a 17 or 18 or 23.
I passed it. It's
so
something.
Like, that's fine. It was way more than I was gonna have. I was gonna have like a DC 10 or 12 or something. And like, all right, take D6 bonk damage as you get smacked by this freaking mast.
Bonk
I also
damage.
have rules for flying that if you don't have, however, you have to move. Technically, I think you have to move at least half your movement, but you could technically just fly in a circle by the rules, you know. So it's whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if I have hover technically or not. I don't offhand know what kind of play that. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I admittedly, despite playing one and having one in a game I run, I have not read the Seraph rules that closely.
I think it's just flying.
I think that's correct.
Yeah. But yeah, I was really worried because there was a lot of dudes, but you guys crushed it.
Yeah.
You guys are really strong.
I think we just had a good strategy of have the barbarian tank most of the day.
Have the angry man scream a lot.
Oh man, yeah. I also rolled really bad.
That
barbarian plus shield of faithing a barbarian is disgusting.
Yep.
So that was 2 weeks ago.
I had a session on one of the Sundays of the one where I'm playing Andros, the Luxodon.
Who never forgets.
To kill. We discovered that there was a mine near our new werewolf allies, because apparently, like, one of our people's like, I need some jewels for these very powerful spells that I can do for people. We're like, okay, great, so this is the only place we can find some jewels. It's infested with undead.
Nice. Classic.
Zombies, and then we fought one white. And we also had zombies on ballistas that were, like, they're so stupid that, like, once we got next to them, they kept still trying to reload and use their ballistas.
Nice.
So, like, the people next to them were like, I don't know what's going on, while, like, the zombies were like, and the people across the bridge who got ballisted originally were like, can you do something to stop that? We're, like, dealing with the white.
What level are you in that game?
I think we just hit 4 because I just took the thing where I get +1 to a stat proficiency in its save, and of course I took Constitution.
Oh, nice.
Resilient?
Resilient, yeah. So now I have like
Spicy.
now I have like a 20 con and like a +7 to con saves.
Yeah, because it's +1 to a stat, and then you get proficiency in saving throws with that +1 stat.
And I was like, "Yep, Constitution.
It's that plus Warcaster is really gross.
Yeah, that might be the next one I do."
Yeah, oh
thing.
man. Just like I can concentrate forever.
I mean, I do have some really deadly concentration spells like Moonbeam and stuff.
He's got to concentrate so he remembers to kill.
I do.
Yes.
And then we ended up going back to camp after that and like regrouping, and we're planning on perhaps going back out there and hitting it up again to finish off the undead as like a more unified unit. We did have at least one records. Did we have two or just one? I think we just had one.
We had one, and that was last week.
Yeah, this week here, not the week before. Where you made some more deals, got some more weirdness with things.
We made the best plan ever.
You did make the best plan ever. So, you now have worked out, you have the 40-some-year-old socialite is going to have your devil baby. Asmocon. With an old man whose soul is going to be replaced with that of Asmodeus temporarily.
Who I'm gonna polymorph into a young man.
Into a young version of himself, so he's like, appealing to the socialite. That you had to go get like a true polymorph scroll from in an underground auction.
And it costs like $12 million.
It's so expensive.
I mean, in a realm where 9th level stuff like that is made very rarely, as I was saying, it's gonna be expensive to find that shit. It's probably also highly illegal.
I mean, we've never done anything illegal. I don't know what you're talking about.
And so then the decision was where we're gonna have this convention.
Yeah, we could have built a building in in the desert where our base is. We could have picked anywhere else, but no, we're gonna fake a convention of in our devil army. We're all gonna be cosplayers.
It's like, this is such a much better finale than I could have ever thought of. I'm like, oh man, this is just adds such a level to it. I just love it so much.
It's so on brand for the 3 people Docs is stuck with.
They are the worst people that could have chosen to do this. I really feel like that's an appropriate description.
It's so on brand.
Oh god, it really is on brand. It's wonderful. So yeah,
I am 100% for it. I even came up with the spelling.
It's so good.
It's gonna be a great finale. I don't think we're having it this week because we're gonna.
Someone's, I think, has stuff they have to do with.
Yeah, Worm's gonna be busy for a couple of days.
Yeah, Worm's gonna be busy for a bit.
I would like
so
at
it's
least
gonna be the week after.
Yeah, I would like to at least have the 3 core main that are remaining. I think I'll try to reach out to Jess.
I'll attempt as best I can.
I'll just show up as a random person. Character sheet.
We'll just give you Thursday.
No. Just give me a different character sheet. Give me a demon character sheet. I'll just play a demon.
You could play Zirin the Imp, who's like he's talk kind of like a New Yorker, and
I don't know if I could play that.
He didn't play video games on top of a fridge all day while doing stock trading.
Yeah, he basically
that is too advanced for my roleplay ability.
Yeah,
give me a big dumb Baylor. Be like, sup.
Oh, and also because of magical technology, the 2 Iranuses have decided to have some kids together.
Oh, it's real sweet.
Hell
yeah.
And Jox may or may not be using the other person we were going to use for the ritual as just I'm going to teach you how to murder people.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, no, it's a great idea. You need a protege assassin.
And, she's going to be better. She has nothing to live for. Assassinations, that's another one.
You like
the
money?
perfect person to make a deal with Asmodeus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. And then I had one session. You
had Vampire.
Well, I had Pathfinder 2nd edition, in which we got into a fight with a dragon tower that shot lightning. And
don't shoot lightning. He's right here.
I know.
Yeah, that's rude.
And there were also like horrible bat monsters that we like surprise attacked near it, and we were fighting those. And then I'm like, okay, so what I'm gonna do is I decided to like haste myself, and then I turned invisible. So then I ran up to it, and I'm adjacent to it now. And my plans are like to knock it over or something. I haven't decided what I'm gonna do, but that's what I'm gonna do to it because I'm invisible. And like I think just like picking it up is not gonna break invisibility.
Oh my god.
I mean, you can cast Soul Strength or whatever on yourself, right?
Bard. I think I ran out of like I don't have that spell probably.
Unfortunate. Sad.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, that was some crazy shit going on in that one, and that was I think we talked about how we had knocked out like basically the Pathfinder 2nd edition version of the Hunter from Carrion Crown. Put him in a boat, sent him down river, put a note with him that's like kind of got some blood splatter on it, like, oh, you know, we've been captured by some enemies, like I managed to escape and get him to the boat, but it's like I'm writing you this note, remember me, I'm too injured to go with you, you know,
remember me.
Remember
me. You must live on for our sake.
You must remember me. Yeah, that's exactly what we did. And we just stole his actual boat.
Nice.
And with all his supplies and stuff, because he was gonna go sell a bunch of supplies and hire more people to get killed, and we're like, "Fuck you, goddammit, no!" He's
somewhere there is art of him you shared us.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He is wonderful. He is
in this chat somewhere.
He is a man with a gun. He's basically the hunter man with a gun and like like blonde and like a monocle and crazy. Anyway, yes. Then we had Vampire, in which some people dealt with a ancient vampire and a giant shark. Worm got bitten.
Horribly.
We finally got Carpe to be able to see after like 3 sessions of being blind because he's underwater and can't see like anybody else.
I'm just gonna say this right now. There was some really big Johnny Silverhand vibes. And I am 100% for that.
See, like, I've not done the Cyberpunk game, so I wouldn't have known about it, but, like, I'm, like, picking up on it.
I mean, okay, so, to be fair, it's not 100% in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It is a meme video someone had made, which I will link after the show.
I think I might know the video.
I'm sure you've seen it, because it's hilarious.
And then, like, in the meantime, Umber kept taking the trials that they had started before, and so
fucking Faye.
Leslie's first one was entering into like vampiric paradise almost.
Yeah, it was Vampire Afterlife.
Yeah,
nice.
And it was sort of like it was a temptation that like. It was very honest, like I was talking to Umber afterwards, he's like, it was very hard for me not to give, like, this would have been a good ending for my poor boy Leslie, go through so much shit. You know, it was so hard to, like, just say no to that, and I'm like, I understand. That was the point of it. It was supposed to be hard. And then it was just the test with the Fae, where they were like, they didn't care anymore.
Yes.
Play chess with our champion.
Here is a huge demon. Play chess with them. Battle to the death. The spotlight of chessboard. It's like, what?
Nice.
It was really that bad. It was
great.
I know.
It was a good subversion. Like, battle to the death. This big, huge, hulking demon with this burning sword walks down, and then the spotlight goes, and there's a board game. And then the demon sits down. Duel me. It was great.
Yup. And they were like, yeah. Look, guys. Someone came through here and damaged some stuff before. Like the only people that ever passed. Like we had to improvise. And it's like, what? You what? You had to what now? It's okay. But no, that was I did enjoy all the stuff with the fairies. They were fun to use as like a kind of weird comedy.
Yeah, because they're like reading off scripts or whatever.
They would read off scripts, yeah.
Oh, pull my finger. This is some kind of flatulent jokes. No, it isn't.
And then later on,
Write that down.
And then later on, he's like, pull my finger again, and then did a flashlight joke.
And then a door opened or something.
Yeah.
It actually was, something.
It did stuff both times, but the second time they
Yeah.
made the flashlight joke because he taught them.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we have to think about that. Fair dicks.
Oh my god.
I think I had we had one session of Star Trek that I did have.
Yeah.
Where
Yes, not yesterday.
it
That
was
was this.
Tuesday, where we dealt with Romulans and more intrigue and horrible death poisons, which are made to murder specific people, which could be made into gaseous form, which sounds very terrifying. And we have the Cardassian, which has apparently been experimenting with it in our custody. Yeah,
custody.
pleasant things.
You shouldn't let them go.
No. I don't think I should let him go. I feel like
not.
if we do something with him, we'll probably give him over to the Romulans. I feel like that's
because the Romulans will just use the gas because they're Romulans. They're evil. Yes.
They're also technically lawful. They would probably murder him first.
I mean, they would pump him for all information that he's worth and then kill him.
Yeah.
And then they would have the information about deadly neurotoxin.
Deadly neurotoxin. I mean, it's true. Might not be a great idea.
And they would use it to kill people because they're lawful evil.
Yeah.
Romulans are not good people.
I don't think they're necessarily awful evil. I think they're just they're paranoid of everybody else and believes everybody else is out to get them, and therefore treats everybody terribly.
Okay. Their empire might be lawful neutral, and specifically there are powerful members within the empire that are lawful evil and chaotic evil.
That's true.
There we go. I have the problem of blanket statementing
No,
species
it's
and stuff.
fine. It's fine. They
It's Star
are
Trek.
antagonistic. Regardless.
Yeah, they're not nice.
I don't think we played Carrying Crown either week.
No, we
we've
didn't
had
have any
issues.
Carrying Crown.
We've had issues both weeks. I did have.
The one of them was certain people I think were busy but could make it, and I think I was mostly okay at that point. But I think the one before I think was
There was one where I had there was one where I just couldn't play because I was having a real bad day that day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then was that the last week?
That was last week's, I think.
Yeah, because I think that was when it's like, I can't talk, eating is pain, talking is pain. And
Yeah.
so it's like, okay, we're not going to have this. And then
Yeah.
this week it was like, I could probably be there, but we had two other people who were
Yeah.
kind of there, but kind of not. So it's like, well,
Yeah.
2 weeks without Carrying Ground.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Did anybody else have anything on Wednesday?
On Wednesday, I had a D&D tabletop thing I did.
Ooh.
I know, it's so rare. A bunch of me and my vaccinated friends got together, and we played a board game called Adventure Mart, which is a very cutesy sort of art-style board game about running Walmart for adventurers.
I like
Neat?
And you have to become, I quote, become, I think the wording is the best regional manager, or you get sent to the abyss.
Oh,
because
jeez.
because it's fantasy Walmart run by dragons. So everyone is a kobold.
Oh! I love it.
But it's basically a game where you have your items that you can sell. You will flip over a card for adventure. They'll have a certain amount of money. And then you basically compete with everyone to give them a deal as to what items they'll buy. And often you're going to lose money, but if you get the sell, you get a point.
Oh.
Neat.
It's a very fun board game.
Sounds exciting.
Also, it's the first time I've seen half my friends in a year.
Oh,
I've
nice.
been
Friends.
trying to arrange to get some kind of together with people. I'm hoping to within the next couple, maybe this week or next week or something. The one Thursday, not this week, but the week before, I did have Children of Wrath. They explored more of the submersible docks and went over the maps and began exploring more of their secret-y things that they've been working at. Usual stuff they've been doing. I don't think anything stands out as insane. At least
I
this week.
think I watched that, but they didn't really do a lot. Is that the one where they talked to the tree and the grass was all like, "Step on me"?
Not that time. Not that time, but they have done that. They have done that before. There was a session.
Maybe that was the week before.
The
3 weeks ago, maybe.
That could have been the week before. This was something that technically happened.
Yeah, it did. I was there. I'm like, wow, wow.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna use that now. If anyone speaks with plants and they want to speak with grass, the grass will just be like, "Stop on us, we like it."
I have a dungeon that Twitch chat made that I can throw at you.
Oh God! No, is it a door one?
It's the door dungeon. One of the doors in that dungeon, when you open it, it has an enchantment that causes it to moan.
I mean, I did like also that I had the tree that was paranoid that the other tree was going to murder him in approximately like 50 years. He's coming for me, man! He's coming for me! He's been corrupted by the evil of that place! I'm doomed, man! He's gonna be here in like 50 years! No, man, no! Man, it's the trees. They last forever. Anybody do anything else on a Thursday or Friday?
Thursday, my games ended. I'm free from those. My artificer basically, like, we tasks failed successfully, and my artificer was like, "I'm done," and left. Just angrily, because task failed successfully. And then because those games move days, I just can't be playing, so I'm like, I'll just give my characters a send off and they can do whatever.
We didn't have Friday last week because the spider on my mouse.
We had Friday both weeks.
Did we?
Yeah.
I thought we missed one of them.
No, we did not miss any Friday games. I was afraid I was going to have to, but we didn't have to.
Yeah, that was the one where I was on a whole bunch of painkillers.
Yeah, you were just on a lot of painkillers.
And I was kind of there for part of it.
Yeah, the party.
I don't remember what happened.
The first session that we had, the party continued their investigation of these vampire threats. It took them to the underground portion of the slums, which are really dank and terrible. And the bugbear tried to talk to a homeless man, and the homeless man was like, "I don't like you," and spit on him.
Yeah, because he's a bugbear.
Yeah, because people don't like bugbears. Shock, I know.
Yeah, it's one of these weird things. You'd think they'd be fine with bugbears.
Yeah, totally fine, right? And then they investigated, and they found sort of like this building that the vampires were using to convert people into undead. And then there's like a bar or something.
Yeah,
there was an spider. There was like an abandoned inn. I had it prepared, and then Roll20 ate my map, and I had to spend 5 minutes finding another map.
Yeah,
wow.
there was a lot of waiting on a map to happen.
Yeah,
I remember that because it was like, this is
one.
fine. Because I was paid.
And then they busted down the door, and 6 very powerful vampires were on the other side of that door.
Yeah.
I was just like, "Hey, we just want to chat with you." And then the warlock was like, "No," and cast like a 2nd level fog cloud in the room. And
yeah, and it was.
I'm gonna tell you, if you had agreed to go in that room, they were gonna put up a wall of force behind you and watch their friend try to kill you.
Oh, the death game.
Yep, they like to play with their food.
Well, I mean, that sort of happened next week. Just they weren't there to watch.
And then the week later, they actually had the fight, and I crit Lindsay 3 times.
Who is playing a sorcerer?
Yep.
Ouch.
Lindsay ended up becoming the biggest threat, and towards the end of the fight, the guy they're fighting was like, "I'm gonna stop playing around and actually try to kill you now." And then he got his skull broken open by a barbarian.
I was stealthing in the hallway for the entire fight.
Yep.
But there was a really big angry barbarian who was hitting things.
He was just beating things, and the worst thing a player had ever said to me happened on Friday. They were in a
No.
bar, and there was this cute fey elf lady, and the warlock walks up and uses control water on her drink, and leans in and says, "I'm here to break the ice,"
She made
because
the
he
drink
froze her drink, and then scuffed a persuasion roll, and she got mad.
Yeah, it was like a 12. It's like, I mean, it's probably not awful, but it certainly is bad.
Yeah, was
It
not expecting
broke,
that flirt. It broke me.
everything.
It broke me
I
so
also
much.
I also flirted with a lot of people. that
You
day.
flirted with a goblin. You flirted with
A
You
tavern.
successfully flirted with the Dragonborn.
I think I got a nat 20 on
You
that.
did nat 20 with the Dragonborn. And
Yeah,
you spent some
so
quality
like,
time
whoa.
with her.
Yeah.
And then the party babysitter got introduced, basically.
I maybe kind of flirted with her
Basically,
unintentionally.
I basically gave them a Sorin.
Yeah,
Because they need it.
we do.
And then next session they're gonna take an airship
Ooh.
and
Yeah.
go do some airship shenanigans.
Well, I mean, it's just mostly transportation.
Yep.
Probably. I don't think
There's-
anything's gonna attack us.
Maybe. I mean, it wouldn't be like a dragon or anything, because dragons don't exist in that specific country anymore. They were kind of hunted to extinction.
Yeah. Well, good news. I have a gun and I'm
Yeah.
a really good shot. So
You have a gun. You
I
have a
have-
gun and like 70 bullets.
I have so much ammo. I'm like, I guess I'll buy another box. Oh, that's right. They're 40 rounds a box.
Yeah.
I have like 76 bullets.
Guns are common in this setting. It's Aberrant tech level, so
I also can shoot accurately up to like
Mhm.
300 feet or something.
you also have 300 feet of dark vision.
Yeah, I
'Cause you're a-
do.
You're a Twilight cleric.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot I have that. So basically, I'm deadly up to 300 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't think I'm super broken in that game though.
No, you're actually
Um,
not. You're like
Yeah.
no one's super broken in that game.
I have really
Everyone's
good
kind of like
stealth.
evenly powered, decent.
Yeah, I have good stealth. I have good perception. I have
The
decent investigation.
I will say the strongest person would be the sorcerer, but they can't roll higher than 1 on their spell attack.
Also, are not totally wizard character
Yeah,
like
yeah.
failed every attack roll. except for
Every
one?
attack except the last attack that killed the boss.
Yeah.
Womp womp on that one.
Yeah, it's just like I'm gonna attack. Nope. I'm gonna
No,
attack. Nope.
sorry. Also, Lindsay's character turned into a crab monster.
Oh, and was crawling on the ceiling.
Yeah, it was crab on the ceiling and was really, really gross.
Yeah. Specifically because they came out of a darkness thing. I asked Momo, it's like, hey, does this weird crab monster thing look close enough to an undead to trigger my held action to shoot?
Unfortunately, not.
Because that would have been great if you said
Oh
yes.
shit!
'cause
I
it would've-
forgot about the best part though. 2 sessions ago, when the fog cloud was up, Lindsay readied Arms of Hadar and was like, "If someone walks near me, I'm using it." And the warlock next turn was like, "I'm running the fuck away," and then got slapped by Arms of Hadar. And they
Yeah.
only did damage to themselves.
Yeah, it was really bad. It's like I'm gonna protect all my friends and stand in the hallway, and if anything comes near me, I'm gonna hit them with the spell. You do know that the odds of it being us is higher than the odds of it being them, right?
You only did damage to yourselves that session.
Yeah, I was nowhere near any of that, thankfully.
You were just at the end of the hallway with a gun.
Yeah, I think when we opened the door, I moved to get cover.
Yeah, you
but
did. And
nothing left that room.
No. Because they wanted to bait you into the room.
Yeah, and I wasn't going in that room. I have a path behind me I can use to run away.
Yeah. You did the smart
And-
thing.
And so the healing rogue was not in any of them.
The rogue cleric who was cast this entire campaign 2 spells.
Yeah, I've cast silence and I cast fairy fire. I don't
Yep.
think I've cast anything else.
And then
like,
the
literally.
one opportunity for a healing spell, the person who was going to receive was like, "No, I'm just gonna go to sleep."
Yeah, so I'm just gonna wait here at the temple or whatever and be like, All right, I won't cast any
Well,
spells.
okay, I'll continue to never use my magic.
Yeah, I even had a conversation with our new party member. Like, yeah, I've barely used any of these new
Yeah.
abilities I have. So, you know, that's fine. It was a game.
It was a fun time.
Yeah.
Those were the first 2 sessions I felt that I ran well.
They
which
were
is
good. I hope we fight all the vampires at once again. soon.
Yeah, you're gonna have to fight all of them at once at level 4, I'm sorry.
At level 4? Can I
Yeah.
at least be level 5?
Maybe, if you ask nicely.
I am asking nicely.
Alright. Only Chaz though gets level
Okay.
5.
Oh, good. That's fine. I'll take the free level. But yeah.
Yep.
That's our week.
Sounds like a
We did
great
things.
week of tabletop. Or a couple of weeks, technically.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's
with
2 weeks.
Quite a few missed games, but we all still had fun.
Mm-hmm. We did miss a few games, which I think helps make this not as long of an entire
Oh
segment.
god, it
Oh.
could have been so long if we had every single game.
God.
Yeah, I mean, if we probably would have had Discussing Tabletop last week if people were feeling better. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
they might have been a little shorter.
Yeah. Yep.
Mhm.
Definitely. I think that's a pretty good thing of Discussing Tabletop. I think that's a good place to leave it.
Yeah.
We've talked about a lot of
I have
interesting
to run a
topics.
game.
Yes.
You do. I'm sorry.
I
I
wanna-
know, man. I'm like so like derp.
I want to get a
We'll
few
talk
things
after the show.
done pre-game or stuff or something. That's what I think.
I need
of.
to eat.
Yeah, you should eat.
I
too.
probably should get some more food together or something.
I'm gonna, I don't know, do something.
Anyway, thanks everybody who joined us. So probably next thing that's definitely on the schedule is right now Legacies of Kain, Tuesday, 2 p.m. EST. That's the next one. Actually, Legacies is up in the air.
Monday?
Monday is being canceled
we
because
have to
of,
miss Monday.
because
Yeah,
it's the
yeah.
finale and we're missing Worm. We might have Tuesday because Worm is not necessarily needed, but it depends on that's going to be up in the air.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking I will probably try to at least stream something in place of Monday if I don't do anything else before then, just because we're missing it. You know.
Oh yeah. We've missed a lot of streams have been missed.
So I might get just random gaming streaming. I have no idea. I'll take a look at what I'd want to do.
Something will happen.
Something will probably
Hopefully,
happen.
perhaps. Just stream
Anyway.
Damien.
Yep. Thanks everybody who joined us. Thank you once again to Momo and Lightning for hanging out with
Yeah.
me and chatting about some weird crap that's going on in the world of tabletop gaming.
So much stuff.
So much.
So much Usaopoly.
Usaopoly is like a sign of the apocalypse. But
Stop.
They're Gehenna.
I mean, I thought for a while Steve Jackson Games was going to take that role, but no,
Oh
no.
my God.
Usaopoly was like, hold my beer.
What if we just made a bunch of stupid products?
Huh?
People buy them.
People
Yeah.
buy them. Anyway, hopefully you can join us next week. Have a great rest of your Saturday and weekend if you can't join us for anything else. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane. And till those next times that we would either hang out or see this, farewell, everybody. Farewell.
Bye.
See ya.